Everybody, welcome back to another speed build. I decided to do something a little bit different this time. I always seem to do big mansions, so I thought I'd challenge myself, and today I'm going to build a pet park. Now, I know a lot of people have done pet parks, so I tried to make it a little bit different and make it more like a showground. I think the inspiration came from my nana actually, who used to show dogs. And I always remember when I was little, I'd go and sit by the sidelines and just watch the dogs do their shows. You could go through the kennels and see them while they were resting and look at all their ribbons, things like that. So yeah, that's where I got this idea from. So you can see that I'm working on the grandstand at the moment, just somewhere to sit and watch. I guess not all of the arenas or showgrounds, I should say, had grandstands, but I just thought that it would fit perfectly in Brindleton Bay. I don't know, it's just got that country vibe, I guess. So I just felt like a grandstand would be a good addition to this build. So you can see now I'm working on the show ring itself. Pretty easy to do, just using those rounded platform pieces, attaching them. And I had to I couldn't have it perfectly round because I needed a gate and needed some room to put in these obstacles. So originally I decided I wanted it round, and then I changed my mind and went with that oval shape instead, which I suppose is probably more realistic anyway. I think it turned out okay. So I added in some toilets and a little area for the dogs to do their business, because you certainly don't want that all over a showground. So a little pee area, if you will. I tried really hard, I must say, to not move the camera around as much. I know the last build that I did was very jumpy. So I really did try this time not to be so all over the place with the camera, and I think I did a little better until I'm watching just this little section here. But I suppose it can't be helped sometimes. You've got to have a good look around, I feel. You need to assess where you're at, or at least I need to anyway. So I was building the entrance here, and true to my style, I really didn't know how I wanted it to look. I just had the basic idea. So it's just a lot of indecisiveness, as you're about to see. I wanted to create a podium, but I didn't really know how or where I wanted to do it. And then I found this little actual podium from the pet pack, which I didn't use on the obstacle course, and I thought it would be perfect. So it was a bit of a struggle here to get it to work the way that I had envisioned it in my head, because I figured it could double as like a photo area. You know, when dogs win shows, they get their photo taken and they stand nicely. You hold them nose to tail, which I don't think you can do in the game, but you know, the idea was to create a spot where the winning pet could have their photo taken. So I've added in a backdrop there from the Machino pack. That's how you pronounce it. I'm shocking with pronouncing that one. And then the next difficult aspect of this build, which took me forever to kind of work out how I wanted it to be, was the roofing on the building. I don't know, I wanted a skylight, and I wanted it to be round, because all the showgrounds that I've ever been to have had a dome in them. Not necessarily a see-through dome, but still, you know, it still had that rounded element to it. So I played around a lot here to try and make it work the way I wanted it to. And in the end, I decided just to use the good old platform tools to sort of conceal the edges a bit. It's by no means perfect, but I'm happy with the way that it turned out. I tried a few different things to see if I could kind of hide it a little bit more. But yeah, like I said, I was pretty happy with how it turned out in the end. There's a lot of good tools on the Sims 4 that you can use to kind of hide certain elements. So the half walls are great for that. And despite the fact that I've been playing The Sims since like 2000, I still have such a hard time with roofing. Like, it's just the most obnoxious job on The Sims 4. Some people love it. I certainly do not. I really, really don't. I find it very aggravating. But hey, we got there in the end. So as you can see, it's starting to take its shape there. I just had to take the roof off so I could get the insides to look a little more clean and polished. And then over here I decided that the little showground needed a place for the children to be entertained. So I decided to create like a little play area, like a little, I don't know, not a tree house, but like a cubby, I guess, on stilts. So they had somewhere to be entertained while the parents did all the showing or watching. I love to build little areas for the kids, playgrounds and things like that. You might have seen in some of my other videos or some of my other builds on the gallery. I've made like a pirate park and a fort park, like a big tower. So yeah, I don't know, I think they're cute. I just put in some greenery around the edges, trying really hard not to spin the camera 100 miles an hour like I usually do. And yeah, I didn't know if this was going to work or if it would be rendered useless, but I tried to put the swing set in underneath, and it did work. I had to move it a couple of times because when I play tested it, they kind of swung through the wall, which, you know, isn't really realistic. So, but yeah, no, it actually does function, and it looks like it's built in, which I love. It's hidden there. So yeah, this was the little playhouse to keep the children entertained. Didn't want to put too much there because I felt like it might be a bit too cluttered. And I had to work with the space that I had. So it's a small playground, but playground nonetheless. Oh yes, I found these windows, and I think they're from Eco Lifestyle, and they make a really good like barrier. It just fits in so well with the earthy tones. But that was pretty much the build itself on the exterior. The rest of it's landscaping and adding in all the little details. So, of course, out comes the debug menu. And I suppose this is where I kind of go a little bit all over the place, because I just see something in the menu and go, oh, yep, I'll have that. That'll work over there. So I just wanted to take this opportunity quickly to say a massive thank you to everyone who is following me on Facebook or Instagram. I am so appreciative of that. It just gives me such a massive confidence boost, and I am so happy that you guys are enjoying what I'm doing. Like, there's nothing worse than putting your stuff out there, and you know, whilst not everyone's going to receive your stuff in the same way because everyone has different tastes, it's nice to know that there are, you know, there are people out there who are loving what I'm doing. So, yeah, make sure, if you haven't already, you do follow me on Facebook and Instagram at DeeK Sims. And also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell here on YouTube as well. That way you'll be able to stay up to date with any new content that I release. So yeah, once again, thank you very much for your support. I truly appreciate it. I'm just fixing up the paving here, making it look a bit more aesthetically pleasing. Messing around with the seats. I had a hard time with that. I couldn't decide whether I wanted them to be together or apart, but I went with together in the end. I thought about putting some little coffee tables down there, but then I didn't really have the room for it. And I thought it would just be too bulky, and you don't really have coffee tables in grandstands anyway. That would just be a really fancy addition. Um, yeah, so just adding in all the decor just to make it look a little more um, friendly, inviting, a bit more realistic. And yeah, so here comes the jumping about everywhere because I am now in decorating mode. So when I hit decorating mode, it's just chaos. So I apologize again for the camera going everywhere. I was actually really excited to finish this build and play test it because I often don't play through any of my builds. Like once I've play tested it, I usually move on to building something else because I've got another idea. But I've had dogs and cats for a while now, and I thought it was about time that I actually did something with it. So after I play tested it, I did take my Sims there, and well, I adopted a dog first because I didn't have one. So I did that, and yeah, ran it through, and it's actually really cute. The kids went on the swings and played, and the dog did their training, and the mum just spent all of her time at the coffee cart. So extremely realistic gameplay for me, anyway. I am that mum that goes straight for the coffee cart whenever we're out in public because coffee is life. Yeah, I got to this point and realised, you haven't put any windows in. Probably want some of those. So quickly moved things around to make some space, and then it was onto the inside of the build. I originally had the gates across the front, and when I went back and play tested it, it wasn't functional with the gates there, and I was too lazy, if I'm honest, to work it out, so I just deleted the gates and removed one section of the fence, and that seemed to work perfectly. So that's how it ended up. But I also wanted to put in a little bit of a bathing area because obviously a part of showing dogs is that, you know, they're groomed to like the 9th degree. So in went the bathtub, and I really wanted it to be a platform there, but every time I did it, it raised the fence at the back. So I gave up in the end and just put a counter instead, which I think still looks alright. And that way the fencing on the side there stayed as I wanted it. I don't know about you guys, but the gameplay that I have done with cats and dogs, I'm rather annoyed that you can't control the dog like you used to. I mean, I don't know what you guys think. Leave a comment below, let me know. But personally, I find it really frustrating that I can't be the dog. Or I can't, tell them what to do by being in control of them. Maybe I'm just a control freak. That's probably it. But yeah, no, I really wish we could have a little bit more control over them in the game, or that they could do more so that you could, you know, do shows and things like this. That would be a cool thing to be able to enter shows. I don't know. Maybe that is a feature in cats and dogs, and I just haven't played enough to know. Let me know if it is. I'm sure there's a lot of opinions out there. So, what are some of your pet peeves for cats and dogs? Let me know. I think I'm just cluttering up the area in here. It was a small area by the time I'd got done with the build. I purposely did that because I'm like I said, I always build massive mansions, so I'm trying really hard to do smaller builds. So I intentionally did this on a much smaller lot, and because of that, I didn't have a great deal of room in this building, so I kept it simple, just enough to give it that show feel. Adding a few final touches outside. And I think there might be one room left that I really had no idea what to do with. I put a ladder in and moved away from the room, backed away quietly because I had no idea what to do with it. It was just an empty space. So I thought, let's go back outside and just clutter some more until I could think of what it was that I wanted to do. I have a thing with clock towers at the moment, and I am pretty sure it's from this country living pack, the cottage living pack, sorry, that we've got coming. I don't know, I just think all of a sudden they're really cool and I just want them in all of my builds. So I added in a few more windows into that top bit. Thought, all right, you got to do something with this room. What is it going to be? Put in a step ladder. Let's work it out. So what do you do with all spaces that you don't know what to do? You turn them into attics. And I thought, well, that's probably, somewhat realistic because they would have signage and, different dog obstacles that they would have to bring in and out. So I thought it wasn't too far out at left field. So in it went. And that's the end of the build. So don't forget to like and subscribe. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching my video, guys. If you enjoyed what you saw and you want to see more, make sure you subscribe and also click on that notification bell so you don't miss out on new content. You can also check me out on my socials.